Have you ever heard of an African country with no indigenous people, founded by slaves and prisoners, but today ranks among the top 5 most peaceful countries in the world, where the government pays people to leave, tourists float in a volcanic crater spa, and you can visit the islands without a visa, although there's an Area 51 that's strictly off-limits to visitors. Ready to discover 15 shocking mysteries right now? Number 15. The first African country built entirely by slaves and prisoners. Unlike America, which was founded by voluntary immigrants, or Australia, a penal colony that still had indigenous people, Cape Verde is a rare case in world history. An African nation with no native population, no original ethnic group. In 1462, when the Portuguese first set foot here, the entire archipelago had no villages, no trace of human life. They quickly turned it into Europe's first colony in Africa, and the largest slave transit hub in the Atlantic. For over 300 years, hundreds of thousands of Africans, mainly from Guinea, Senegal, and Sierra Leone, were brought to Cape Verde as a stopover before being exported overseas. But here's the strange part. Many people got stuck on the islands. They weren't taken away, nor could they return home. On top of that, the Portuguese authorities sent prisoners, expelled Jews, Arab refugees, and deserters to live here. Under the blazing sun and poverty, these forgotten people fell in love, had children, and created a community, accidentally building one of the world's most unique mixed-race nations. Today, about 550,000 people live in Cape Verde, but nearly 1 million Cape Verdeans live abroad, especially in the U.S. If you've ever been to Boston, you might have met Cape Verdean Americans working in restaurants, as nurses, artists, or even university professors. They speak Portuguese and Creole. The migration story began in the early 20th century, when drought and economic crisis forced about 60,000 people from Brava and Fogo Islands to leave Cape Verde for the U.S. Over 60,000 settled in New England, forming a tightly knit community with deep ties to America. During those tough times, they even wrote to the U.S. Congress asking to make Cape Verde a U.S. territory like Puerto Rico, but it didn't happen. Still, to this day, people from Brava celebrate America Day every year, with U.S. flags flying alongside Creole music as a way to remember the special bond between the two worlds. Number 14. You can visit Cape Verde without a visa. Cape Verde has long been famous as one of the easiest to enter countries in Africa. No visa, no invitation letter, no interview. It sounds like a paradise for travelers. If you hold a passport from the US, Canada, Europe, Japan, Brazil, or even ASEAN countries like Vietnam, Thailand, or Singapore, you get a 30-day visa-free stay. This open policy makes Cape Verde one of the continent's most attractive destinations, welcoming over 110 nationalities each year. However, behind the seemingly wide-open door is an administrative trap called EASE, Electronic Authorization and Security Entry. This is a mandatory online registration system that most travelers don't know about. Even though you don't need a visa, you still have to register online before your flight. Fill in your personal info, travel plans, accommodation address, and pay a security fee of about $33 to $35. If you forget this step, don't expect to board your flight. Many travelers have been denied check-in at airports in Lisbon, Milan, or Paris, just for not registering with EASE. If you risk flying straight to Cape Verde without registering, you could be held for hours at the airport, have to fill out paperwork by hand, convince immigration officers with all sorts of documents, and still risk being denied entry if you can't clearly prove your travel plans. With over 800,000 international visitors a year but small, under-automated airports, Cape Verde uses EASE as a way to screen travelers from afar, ensuring security and avoiding sudden overcrowding. Number 13. The government once paid citizens to leave the country. Sounds like a joke, but this was a real policy. If you were a poor, unemployed Cape Verdean, who wanted to seek opportunities in Europe, the government would actually pay you to leave, legally, safely, and with guidance. Cape Verde is the only country in Africa that has openly used migration diplomacy, helping citizens move abroad as a way to reduce population pressure and boost the economy from afar. In the late 1970s, when the country faced drought, scarce resources, and too little farmland, the Cape Verdean government chose a bold strategy: conditional citizen exports. Instead of keeping everyone at all costs, they signed bilateral agreements with Portugal and Italy, allowing Cape Verdeans to work legally overseas. They also launched specific support programs, fast-track passports, basic language training, and, most notably, financial aid of up to $150 to $300 per person, about $500 to $1,000 today, so people could buy plane tickets and prepare for their journey. It's estimated that, at the peak from 1980 to the early 2000s, over 60,000 people received direct government support to migrate legally, mostly young, rural, unemployed people. And this strategy worked beyond expectations. Today, Cape Verde has about 600,000 people at home, but over 1 million Cape Verdans live abroad, especially in Portugal, France, Italy, the US, and the Netherlands. Remittances sent home each year make up 15% of GDP. Almost 1/6 of the national economy comes from the overseas community. The Cape Verdean government even calls this community a living heritage and encourages them to return and invest, with dual citizenship, tax-free entry, and special business privileges. Number 12. The Volcano Crater Spa. You think only the Dead Sea lets you float effortlessly? Think again. Welcome to Pedra de Lume, a volcano crater that's been dormant for millions of years, but inside holds a natural saltwater lake with salinity as high as 25 to 30%. Compared to the Dead Sea's 33%, this is enough to let your body float without swimming, making you feel weightless, almost like training at NASA's Space Center. Imagine walking through a tunnel inside the mountain, into a giant crater surrounded by glowing red cliffs. At your feet is water still as glass. You don't need to move, just lie back and float. Close your eyes, and you might feel like you're meditating in outer space. But that's not all. At the bottom is a layer of mineral-rich black salt mud, full of magnesium and iron, believed to detoxify, brighten, and rejuvenate your skin. Many visitors call this the world's strangest natural spa, where you relax and absorb millions of years of geological history right through your skin. In the past, Pedra de Lume was a major salt mining center for Cape Verde, exporting thousands of tons a year to Europe. Today, it's a unique tourist spot. People come not to work, but to heal body and soul. And when sunset comes, the sun reflects off the white salt flats, making the whole volcanic area glow like a scene from a sci-fi movie. Are you ready to float inside a volcano? Number 11. Legendary shipwrecks of Cape Verde. Along Cape Verde's rugged coast, the waves don't just crash against the rocks. They awaken memories of hundreds of ships that now rest forever on the Atlantic's floor. For centuries, this place has been called the graveyard of ships at sea. Among these many maritime tragedies, one story is legendary in local lore. The wreck of the SS Cabo Santa Maria in 1968, off the coast of Boa Vista, an island known as the mini Sahara of the ocean. The ship wasn't carrying gold or treasure, but a strange cargo. Hundreds of electric organs, like Hammond, Moog, and Fender Rhodes, the instruments that shaped the funk, soul, and jazz sound of the 1960s. Even stranger, after the ship ran aground, the entire crew disappeared within hours. No one died, but there's no clear explanation. All that was left was the rusting ship and an orphaned stash of musical instruments. Locals collected the organs, brought them to schools and churches, and unintentionally planted the seeds for a new wave of music on the islands. From there, a generation of Cape Verdean artists, most famously Cesaria Evora, the world-renowned barefoot diva, was born. Today, the SS Cabo Santa Maria still lies in shallow water, the sea breeze whistling through its iron frame like a flute. It's a haunting, beautiful monument, a testament to how Cape Verdeans turn tragedy into inspiration. Number 10. One of the most politically stable countries in Africa. When people think of African politics, they often picture coups, instability, ethnic conflict, or rampant corruption. But in the middle of the Atlantic, there's a tiny country with a constitutional democracy so stable it's hard to believe. Cape Verde. No coups, no civil wars, no opposition crackdowns, no presidents for life. For over 30 years, Cape Verde has consistently ranked among Africa's best democracies, according to the Economist Intelligence Unit's Democracy Index. Presidents can serve a maximum of 2 terms, each 5 years, and elections are always transparent, internationally monitored, and scandal-free. Cape Verde also regularly ranks in the top 5 most peaceful African countries, according to the Global Peace Index. The crime rate is so low that many visitors say it's as safe as Iceland, but with year-round sunshine and seas as blue as Santorini. Why has a resource-poor country become a model of democracy? Perhaps it's because they lack oil, precious metals, forests, or big rivers. Instead, they invest in their most sustainable assets, education, trust, and the power of the vote. Today, Cape Verde has a higher standard of living than the African average: friendly people, efficient government, and a literacy rate near 90%. It's become a political oasis, attracting not just tourists, but investors and international development organizations. Number 9. Don't honk your car horn in Cape Verde. In many places, car horns are a traffic tool, but on some Cape Verdean islands, they're a symbol of rudeness. On islands like Brava or Fogo, especially in small villages, people value peace and quiet. They believe tranquility isn't just a lifestyle, but part of Morabeza, the gentle, relaxed, unhurried spirit of Cape Verde. That's why even a few seconds of horn can be seen as breaking the sacred calm. In many rural communities, only ambulance or funeral drivers are allowed to honk, and only in real emergencies. If you honk just to get someone to move or call a friend, it's seen as arrogant, disrespectful, even insulting. There have been cases where tourists or foreign drivers accidentally honked when entering a village and were stopped by locals, asked to get out and apologize publicly, not because they hate outsiders, but because it's seen as a breach of community etiquette, like yelling at a funeral or blasting music during meditation. If you rent a car in Cape Verde, especially on the smaller islands, it's best to forget about the horn. You'll be surprised to see traffic here barely needs it. Number 8. Mobile markets that find you. In Cape Verde, markets don't need roofs, signs, or even a storefront, because they're balanced on people's heads and travel all over the islands. Every morning, you'll see women on Sol or Boa Vista Islands carrying a mini world on their heads. Baskets of ripe mangoes, golden papayas, handmade bracelets from palm seeds or shells, and sweet fried cakes wrapped in old newspaper. They walk through streets, resorts, beaches, even into courtyards, bringing greetings, sales calls, and sun-soaked smiles. No flashy ads are needed. They sell with charm and a rare sense of natural marketing. They know what Western tourists like, when to tell a little story about the island, and when just to smile. According to Cape Verde's Ministry of Tourism, over 30% of handicrafts and street food are sold through this head-carrying market, something almost unheard of in the West. It's not just buying and selling, it's communication. A mango sale often comes with stories about the rainy season, fish offshore, or the seller's daughter studying in Lisbon. These mobile shops make tourists feel welcomed and seen as part of the community, even if only for a moment. Number 7. Cape Verdeans have one of the highest life expectancies in Africa. In Africa, where many countries still struggle with disease and average lifespans under 60, Cape Verde stands out as a longevity oasis, a place where the elderly live long, healthy, and happy lives. According to the latest WHO statistics, the average life expectancy in Cape Verde is now about 74 years, higher than some South American countries like Brazil, 72, and even surpassing Asian countries like Indonesia, the Philippines, or India. What's their secret? First, the island diet. Lots of seafood, seasonal vegetables, beans, yams, and very little processed food. Every meal in Cape Verde is simple, low-fat, but nutrient-rich, and most importantly, eaten slowly and joyfully. Next, the natural environment. Clean air, no industrial pollution, the sound of ocean waves instead of car horns. No one needs to wear masks, filter their home air, or live under high stress. But the most important factor is their signature slow-paced lifestyle. In Cape Verde, no one brags about being busy as a badge of honor. Instead, they show off their backyard banana trees, family dinners, afternoons spent playing dominoes or fishing. They don't retire because life has always been in balance. Notably, rates of heart disease, diabetes, and depression among Cape Verde's elderly are lower than the African average, according to the World Health Organization's 2023 report. Number 6. In Cape Verde, many people choose not to get rich. In a world where people measure value by income, productivity, and speed, there's a place that chooses to live differently: Cape Verde. Here, many people don't chase wealth, not because of a lack of opportunity, but because they choose peace. This phenomenon of people turning down chances to get rich isn't just a rumor. It comes from a deep life philosophy called morabeza, a word that can't be directly translated, but means being gentle, easygoing, friendly, and especially not overly concerned with material things. You'll see it everywhere. Fish sellers at the market don't yell out prices. People are happy to sit for hours under palm trees just chatting, and young people would rather play soccer in the afternoon with friends than work an extra shift at a hotel. Incomes here aren't high, averaging about $3,500 to $5,000 a year. But you rarely hear complaints. They live off fishing, small-scale farming, and especially remittances from relatives abroad, which helps life feel just right, never rushed. Many Cape Verdeans have been invited to work in Portugal or Italy for 4 to 5 times the pay, but still say no, just to stay close to family, watch the ocean every morning, eat corn porridge with old friends, and play dominoes under the porch. Of course, not everyone thinks this way. Some young people start businesses, go to college, work in tourism, or open homestays. But the special thing in Cape Verde is they don't judge each other by wealth. Number 5. The world's largest artificial coral reef. If you think underwater wonders only exist in Australia or the Maldives, think again. The world's largest artificial coral reef is actually hidden beneath Cape Verde's blue waters, created from an old ship. In 2016, Cape Verde's government launched a bold project, sinking the Quartzit, a retired cargo ship, off São Vicente Island to create a world-class artificial reef. This wasn't just an ocean art show. It was a long-term conservation effort to restore overfished ocean ecosystems and boost ecotourism. The ship, nearly 330 feet, about 100 meters long, was thoroughly cleaned of oil and toxic materials, then intentionally sunk at an ideal depth to become home for tropical fish, hard and soft corals, and sea turtles. In just a few years, the wreck began to come alive, turning into an underwater city of life. Now, it's a mecca for international divers. With safe depths, crystal clear water, and a shipwreck as hauntingly beautiful as a tropical Titanic, Cape Verde has earned its place on the world's diving map. Amazingly, the project cost less than $500,000, but the density of marine life around the ship has increased by over 300% in just 5 years. Number 4. Throwing banana peels on the street is forbidden, not for the environment. Sounds odd, but many locals believe banana peels carry slippery energy, a force that can make your fate go downhill fast. Tossing peels carelessly isn't just rude, it's seen as inviting bad luck and could bring a year of misfortune. This belief comes from a mix of folk superstition and traditional farming life. Because banana peels are slippery, they became a symbol of instability, carelessness, and falling in life. Some say that in the 1960s-70s, a string of small accidents after banana season led people to believe banana peels shouldn't be treated lightly. Today, in many areas of Santiago, it's said that if you accidentally step on a banana peel, you should walk back 3 steps and rub your hands 3 times to break the curse. Some people carry a coin in their left pocket to block the slip. Interestingly, even though it's not a law, local authorities don't discourage this belief. Thanks to it, the streets are cleaner, less organic waste is thrown around, and people are more conscious about their own fate. Number 3. Cape Verde is the world's 3rd largest natural maternity ward for endangered sea turtles. Not Florida, not the Maldives. It's Cape Verde, one of the planet's 3 most important places for the nesting of loggerhead sea turtles, an ancient species on the brink of extinction. From July to September each year, under the quiet moonlight on Boa Vista's wild beaches, thousands of female loggerheads, one of the world's most endangered sea turtles, crawl ashore to begin a nesting ritual millions of years old. Among all the nesting beaches worldwide, Cape Verde's Ervatão Beach ranks 3rd globally for this species, only behind Florida and Oman. During peak season, over 100 new nests can appear in a single night. Local conservation groups stay up all night to guard against egg thieves, scare away predators, collect data, and guide responsible tourists. You can join special night tours using only dim red lights and silent steps to witness an incredible sight. A 200-pound turtle crawling from the ocean, digging a nest, laying eggs, then disappearing back into the waves. And if you're lucky, you might see tiny baby turtles, smaller than your palm, waddling to the sea at sunrise. It's the start of a life-or-death journey where only 1 in 1,000 will survive to adulthood. Number 2. A music so sad, it's a world heritage. Its name is Morna, a traditional Cape Verdean music genre called the blues of Portuguese-speaking Africa. Morna isn't loud or energetic. It's a quiet voice, a sigh of the exiled, a confession soaked in homesickness, loneliness at sea, and the centuries-long separation since Cape Verdeans were forced to leave home to make a living around the world. Unlike Brazil's samba or Nigeria's Afrobeat, Morna is usually sung in Creole, with slow, complex melodies blending Portuguese folk, fado, and European classical music. A good Morna song can silence an entire bar, bring tears to the elderly, and make young people suddenly quiet. Because of this, in 2019, UNESCO officially recognized Morna as an intangible cultural heritage of humanity, placing this sad music alongside Spain's flamenco and Argentina's tango. Have you ever heard a song so sad the whole world decided to preserve it? If not, try listening to Morna. And if your heart feels heavy, don't worry. That's just the effect of a culture that truly sings its loneliness. Number 1. The Forbidden Island. Can you believe it? In the heart of the Atlantic Ocean lies a mysterious island that not even locals are allowed to step foot on. Welcome to Santa Lucia, the most forbidden island in Cape Verde, often nicknamed the Area 51 of Africa. Despite spanning just 13.5 square miles, about the size of Disney World in Florida, this island is completely off-limits. No hotels, no villages, no tourists. Even fishermen who anchor too close risk heavy fines, confiscation of their boats, or worse, expulsion from Cape Verdean waters. Why such extreme restrictions? Because Santa Lucia is a Reserva Natural Integral, the highest level of environmental protection under Cape Verdean law. It is home to fragile, endemic species that exist nowhere else on Earth. The ecosystem is so delicate that even minimal human contact could lead to irreversible damage. We've just explored 15 shocking facts and taboos about Cape Verde. Which one impressed you the most? Did anything make you want to book a ticket right away? Or on the contrary, make you think twice before visiting Cape Verde? Leave a comment below. And if you want to keep discovering the world's most one-of-a-kind countries, don't forget to like, subscribe, and turn on notifications.